Okay, so now's the tutorial fight. So now we're actually on the boss fight here. And actually, it turns out that the solution here is very simple. And in fact, they tell you... so, okay, I'm just gonna get my ass beat here, because it turns out this is a very... Like, you might kind of get paranoid thinking, oh my god, she's gonna kill me, because this is a surprisingly difficult fight for a first boss. Like, some of the attacks here are surprisingly tough to dodge. You can... Or at least you might think that it might be relatively easy to die at this point in the game. And here's your hint. Talking is not the solution in this situation. Now, of course, that might mean that, you know, fighting is the solution, and that you have to weaken her. When actually the real solution here is to just spare her repeatedly. And in fact, there's no time pressure. Some of the other bosses, it's a bit tricky because you're kind of extending the duration of the fight by trying to spare them. And okay, so now we're like almost dead. But of course we know Toriel is way too nice for that kind of stuff. She does not want to kill you. Once you get to low enough HP, she just does this little... this little, I don't know what to call it, this little half-hearted auto-dodging, like the anti-homing fireballs here. So she really doesn't want to kill you. Apparently there's some way to actually get killed here. I'm not sure exactly how. I saw it in a YouTube video, but wasn't able to replicate it. And again, if you do somehow manage to get yourself killed here, Toriel will just have this absolute look of just total dread and horror during the split second where your heart just cracks in half and you die. It's just kind of heart-wrenching, but... Oh, and incidentally, this fight marks the end of the demo for this game. I didn't actually know there was a demo for this game. Apparently it came out a while before Undertale was released, and apparently a lot of people got really hyped for Undertale on the basis of that demo, where you can just play the game up to this point. Which is kind of surprising, because honestly, I remember even thinking my first time through the game, I was not terribly impressed with the game up to this point. It was like, yeah, we could just cut, like, honestly, haven't seen much. We've seen, you know, a lot of cute touches that have been going on and off about and all that, but, or going on and on about and all that, but, like, in terms of the actual gameplay, like, the dungeon is kind of boring, the combat system, or, like, the combat encounters, is like the random encounters are just kind of your bog standard, repetitive JRPG fare. I was not super impressed with the game at this point in, and then sort of once I met Sans and Papyrus is where I was really sold on the game from that point forward, and I started to really enjoy what I was seeing on screen. And so okay, we just keep sparing her here. You can attack her at this point if you want, and it'll actually be a one-shot kill. And she has unique dialogue that's a little bit heart-wrenching about just how She basically is just completely shocked by your betrayal and how you would turn on her at her most vulnerable moment, and then she just sort of at the end she dies laughing and saying that you'll fit in perfectly out there, and it's just kind of bone chilling, honestly. And that's kind of the other thing. It's like I love the cute and charming aspects of this game as well, but I think another part of what really makes it is just kind of I don't know what to call it, just sort of. It kind of runs the whole gamut of emotions, really. You've got, like, some really horrific stuff that can happen, too, just as a result of who you kill and whatnot. And, like, actually, one example that I didn't even know about on my first playthrough, like, on the ending that I got on my blind playthrough that I did on YouTube, we find out that, what's her name? The lizard scientist. Dang, I'm so bad with names in general. Whatever, lizard scientist lady. And we find out that she went missing. And it's like, oh, okay, that's a shame. I hope she's doing all right. And on a true pacifist playthrough, you uncover sort of some new stuff about her character that basically reveals that in all of the neutral endings where Alphys, that was her name, Alphys, on all the neutral endings where Alphys goes missing, you find out that she is not fine, and that in all likelihood she probably killed herself in every neutral ending where she suddenly disappears. So it's like there's all this cute and charming stuff, but it does have that bit of darkness that can occur as well, depending on your actions. Some of it like kind of frankly horrific, especially when you go out into like the full genocide playthrough. I guess that's the other thing I should maybe comment on. I was actually going to do a full genocide clear of the game, just to admit, and I wasn't sure if I was going to record it or not. And I actually did start on it at one point. I went through and I saw some of the genocide content, and it's honestly pretty horrific, pretty gut-wrenching stuff. And I ended up quitting it, not as a result of like not being able to hand the story content or anything. It's just the genocide playthrough is so goddamn boring. Like, talk about your tedious grindathons through the same random encounters all the time. And one of the requirements for the genocide run on Undertale is not only do you have to kill all the bosses, you've got to kill every single random enemy in the game as well. And that doesn't mean like one of each random enemy. That doesn't mean like every random enemy you encounter. That means like the entire population of random encounter enemies. Each area has a set number of random encounters that can possibly occur in each area, and you need to do every single one of them. I think it's like in this first area you need to win like 36 random encounters or something in order to continue onward with your full genocide playthrough, and that was just unbearably tedious. I think I made it to like I got to the point where you kill Papyrus, and in the area after that I was just like, this is so goddamn boring. I can't stand this. Oh, this is another bit that changes on the second playthrough. So he doesn't even have to tell us. We just turn around, handshake, whoopee cushion, done. Don't even have to be told to shake his hand. We just know what we're doing. we're miles ahead of him there. And in fact, Sans is no fool. He thinks it's a bit weird that we turned around and did the handshake before he even asked us to. Another one of those little changes in the second playthrough that makes things, those things that you just kind of have to watch out for. Anyways, I don't think there's any more stuff to watch out for at this point, though, so we're just gonna hide behind the conveniently shaped lamp and, basically just blow through all the dialogue. Because, I've seen all this already. I'm pretty sure that there's... there's nothing new from this point onward in terms of dialogue. At least for this segment of the game. Okay. So... Actually, I've never tried this. Can we still talk tutorial at this point? Okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure she won't pick up the phone. In fact, we find out the reason why she's not able to pick up later on. It's nothing morbid or anything. It just her phone got stolen by a dog, I think, at some point. Or by someone or other, at least. I'm pretty sure it was a dog. Okay. And so yeah, there's a weapon in that box, but honestly we don't even care. We aren't going to be using the fight command at all from this point forward in the game. Yeah, this is kind of the caveat with your second playthrough of the game. Is there a lot of stuff that you kind of have to sit through. So yeah, what to talk about in the meantime? Or actually, although there are enough choices in the game to kind of change things up. It's like, we've got the bit coming up where, how do you deal with these guys again? Or actually, I guess, you know what, okay, we're gonna be pacifists, but I wonder how much of an asshole you can be to these guys. Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's a fast way to beat that guy, that's right, I forgot about that. He's worth a fair bit of money, too. In fact, that's actually a decent cash grinding spot. Oh yeah, this is our little tutorial bit for the blue stuff. Okay, won't move. I don't know what it was. I just got so confused with the blue. Oh, can't spare him just yet. Continue petting him. Okay, now he's freaking out. Now I think it's actually been a little while since the last time I played through this game. It's like I sort of did a few test playthroughs to try and get sort of my route planned out and try to plan out the most efficient pacifist run I could. And I did that, I guess, about a week ago. And then I never got around to doing the full recording. So it's, what do you do with these guys? And so yeah, now I've kind of forgotten fair bit. I think there was an easier way to deal with these guys. Was it this? I don't know. I guess, so yeah, I guess that's kind of the fun of it. If anything, it's actually kind of a good thing. Nope, I'm not looking at your hat. Don't give a shit. There, we defeated him by not looking at his hat. So yeah, it's in fact, there's sort of that puzzle. I've gone on a little bit about the sort of puzzle-solving aspect of the game, where you're sort of trying to figure out how you can get these monsters off your back without having to kill them. And what I found out on a subsequent playthroughs is that there's not really that much of puzzle-solving to it. You can do just about anything, and the monsters will eventually stop attacking you, regardless of which action you choose most of the time. It's just that some actions or sequences of actions will work faster than others, is what I've found. Yeah. I mean, anyway, so I was going on about sort of the dialogue in this game and how you got various different dialogue options throughout the game, and so that also kind of mitigates a bit of the tedium of a second playthrough as well. As you get to go through and see just kind of the different stuff. Oh, by the way, oh, you can get electrocuted here, but yeah, it doesn't actually hurt you at all. Kind of a plot reason. I guess we have the plot justification for that as well too, where sort of the reason why Papyrus seem to be affected by it more than us, which is we already know in plot terms that humans are much tougher than monsters. Reason I think the excuse they gave is that they're like comprised of more physical matter or something, like just I don't know, monsters have bigger or just less dense than humans or something in terms of like their actual physical composition. Or actually, you know what? Oh, I remember now. That bit of revelation actually doesn't come through until the end of this Pacifist playthrough, now that I think of it. So actually, yeah, we will find out later about sort of some of the little quasi-scientific explanation that the game gives for why humans are so much stronger than monsters. And I say like kind of the quasi-scientific explanation. But I suppose like the real explanation is just so that... Oops. Oh, God. These kinds of like little puzzles and mini-games are another sort of aspect of the game that I'm not kind of crazy about having to replay either. Nope, we're gonna... Oh, is that going in? No, we're just gonna have to redo that. Anyways, yeah, the real reason I suspect why they decided that humans are so much tougher than monsters is just so that we can have the protagonist... Basically to give some excuse for why the protagonist can be like this little kid who is somehow able to take down and potentially slaughter all of these monsters. Which is, you know, kind of... although I must say, I do kind of admire that bit of internal consistency. It's like they do go through great lengths, I think, in this game to try and justify... what did I say last time? I don't remember. Oh yeah, we'll go with the jumble. I think I said crossword last time. And Sans... Yep, he's glad that we... he's glad that we agreed with his brother. Just I'm trying to solve the horoscope. I think we got that line in the last playthrough as well. And I'm actually forgetting a surprising... Okay, yeah, there was this thing here. What's the thing? Oh yeah, and then we got the dog boss coming up. Oh, which one? Oh, there's a thing here. Am I gonna do this? I think we're gonna do this. Oh god, that attack is like one of the hardest ones to dodge. I don't think I've ever successfully dodged that. We're gonna show off a little bit of this. I know, I said I was gonna go a bit of a fast playthrough, but... Oh, you son of a... This goddamn dog. Anyways, yeah, if you maybe... Yeah, I think you've noticed at this point what's happening. I think you guys see what's going on here. There's no need to really stress the point and go through with it anymore. You guys see what happens when you pet this thing. But we're just going to keep doing it anyways. We're going to see how far they'll take it. How excited can this thing get? Okay, there. That's how you do it. You got to bait it out and then run away. How much further are they going to take this? This is madness. At least we don't need to dodge the attacks anymore at this point. Oh, well, we can still reach him, apparently. Got his motor revving. And he's, yeah, that's overstimulated. That's one word for what we're... That's one word for what we're looking at right now. Oh god, he's going into orbit now. There's no way to stop the madness. Kettle's boiling over and it will not stop. He's in the clouds. He's like not even in the game world anymore. He's gone off to the void. Oh god, yeah, and I guess there's nowhere to go from here. Oh, I guess I was wrong. Oh, we can reach him again. So now he can get pet again. That's what. Of course, he's gonna come back for the petting. He missed us so much. Or what is he now? Oh, he's lowering. I have taken this through to the very end. It really doesn't change much from here. He goes down to about near the end of the screen, and then it just kind of stops. And it's kind of the same thing every time until you get to that point. But, yeah. That's a lot of the stuff that you can do in this game. It's just kind of a matter of doing the same thing over and over and over again, and just sort of seeing how much the game... Well, how much... It's like you sort of carry it further. You carry it like just further and further forward, and you just sort of to see how much the game is going to follow you along as you're trying to carry it forward, and see at what point they're going to stop it. And actually, that's actually kind of profound now that I think of it. A lot of that kind of rationale applies to the whole genocide playthrough as well. Just how far are you going to take it, and how far is the game going to follow you there? It's like a lot of the humor out of the game comes from that kind of those kinds of jokes. What was the solution here? Oh yeah, we got to roll around to make ourselves smell like a puppy, a weird puppy, and then oh yeah, make them approach, and then right, re-sniff, then pet, then pet. Got it. I don't know, I've done a little bit of experimentation with most of the bosses in this game, and most of them have some way for you to skip them, but a few of them don't, which is a bit of a shame. It's a bit weird and inconsistent, or I don't know, maybe I just don't know the fast ways of dealing with some of these bosses. In fact, I probably should have looked them up beforehand, before doing this playthrough. And yeah, sort of the worst offender in that regard is the Papyrus fight coming up. As far as I know, there isn't any way to speed that one up. It's actually, the Papyrus fight is probably the longest and most drawn-out boss fight in the game, I think, on a full Pacifist playthrough. Which is, yeah, I don't know what to say about that. Yeah, there's just a lot of stuff that kind of comes across as... Like, they could have tried a little bit harder, I think, to make things a bit more interesting for your second playthrough. Which is weird, because, like, like, the game does kind of do the right things a lot of the time to try and alleviate that bit of repetitiveness, you know, changing up the dialogue, giving you those little boss shortcuts, but it doesn't really do enough of it. It's like you'd think that if they're smart enough to drop those kinds of... Oh wait, no, it was do the switch, was it? Yeah. It's like I don't know, if the game designer was like clever enough to know that players would want these kinds of things, why didn't he put in more of them? Why did he leave it so that like you got to do the full Papyrus fight? Or maybe you don't. I could be talking out of my ass here. I don't actually even know that there is no... There very well could be a way to speed your way through that fight, and I just don't know it. Actually, there is one other thing with that fight that's actually going to extend it if I show it off, but it's neat enough that I'm going to want to... Oh yeah, this bit. That's another... Just a bit of the humor in the game that I love. I love that they brought this back later on in the game with Metaton. Yep, totally understood it. No problem. Okay, so this is different from what I chose last time. What's going to happen? What completely random configuration are we going to get? Okay. I think I can handle that. And then, of course, yeah, Papyrus's reaction. So anime. Okay. Oh yeah, and yeah, the snowmen in this area actually change, or the snow dogs change, depending on how much you pet the lesser dog, which is kind of frightening. It fills our character with determination. I just find this honestly slightly disturbing. It's like, look at this, the broken head of a snow dog. How does that fill you with determination? And actually, we're gonna be seeing allusion, like they'll sort of allude later on in the game to kind of the notion that maybe our player character is maybe not the happiest of children, potentially. Which I guess is kind of obvious if you think about it. It's like the story at the beginning of the game that you get. It's like there's the legend or the tale that people tell where if you climb Mount whatever, travelers who climb up to Mount whatever don't ever return. So it's like, what the heck is our player character doing up there? If everybody knows this tale, where you climb the mountain and don't ever return. Why did our player character decide to climb that mountain that people never return from? Which kind of gives you, I don't know, it's just kind of a neat question. It's like, is our main character really that well adjusted in the end? And honestly, you kind of get to decide that for yourself. Almost kind of roleplay it, really. If you decide they did it because they're like some nihilistic psychopath or something, you can play in that manner, and it's kind of completely justified by sort of the premise of the game. And then if you want to do the whole pacifist route, that could, just sort of be you turning your life around and really getting attached to just this whole underworld and the people, or I guess the monsters and the delightful cast of characters in it. Oh, we're just going to ignore this guy. Nope, don't even care. We already indulged your lesser friend. Don't have time for your nonsense. And yeah, the dog face on the spear as well. How close is he at this point? He must be like literally like underneath us. It's like we're standing on top of him or something. Puppy dog eyes. I think this is... yeah, we're too boring. But at least he gave us a bunch of money for it. Okay, I'm gonna have to do like little sanity checks from time to time as well, just to make sure that I'm not that I haven't screwed up anything on the pacifist run. I'm pretty sure that that there's nothing you can do, and actually that's kind of the dark side. Like I mentioned, kind of the downside to all these dialogue options. Like I've mentioned how it's so nice that you have sort of all these options throughout the game, all these little dialogue options that'll sort of give you different little jokes depending on what you pick. It's, regardless of whether you choose to, make him repeat the instructions to the square puzzle or whether you say you understand it, you get a neat little joke in the end. Whether you... and we'll have that coming up in the Date with Sans as well, where it's like, regardless of whether you open the ketchup or don't, you get something funny out of it. So it's nice that you got all these little dialogue options where... you get different jokes depending on what you choose. That kind of alleviates the tedium of subsequent playthroughs. In terms of story and everything, though, you really... like, none of these are all kind of your standard so-called communist choices in these kind of JRPGs. None of your choices have any... none of your choices in this game have any long-term effect on anything whatsoever. It's just... you pick a different dialogue option, you get a different joke, and that's all there is to it. There is no dialogue option, or there is nothing I can make my character say or do that will ruin this pacifist run, other than, your combat actions. The only thing you can do to screw it up is kill stuff in combat. That's the only way. None of your other decisions matter in the slightest. Which is a bit disappointing. And I don't know. I think the game doesn't even hint at, that kind of... like, that's not even a thing in this game. Like, literally none of your choices make any difference. That's just the kind of game it is. And, yeah, the only choice that matters, really, is will you kill or won't you? And if you will... oops, why am I... wrong button, Jasu. Shop. Was there anything to buy here? Honestly, I think I want to save my money, because, yeah, there's no reason to ever buy weapons, because we're never going to be using the fight command. Bandana will be supplanted very quickly. Or, in fact, we have some extra... I think we actually do have some equipment that I forgot to equip, now that I think of it, so actually we'll do that. It was the Faded Ribbon. Yeah, that's right. So... yeah, I'm pretty sure I went through all of the NPC dialogue my first time through the game. Oh, actually, this person shows up in this town. This is like my 4th time through the game. How have I not noticed this? I think it's just because I walked through the NPCs every time, like without even paying attention to them. That's the little dinosaur kid that shows up later on during the Undyne segment. How did I not notice that? That is so obvious. Oh, another weird thing. I kind of lucked out on my first time through the game. Oh, never mind. So apparently this... I don't know if this is true or not, but I've read that apparently this whole wrong number song thing is apparently it's random. It's like you might, some playthroughs you might get it, sometimes you won't. It's just like apparently like a random number generator determines whether or not you get the random or the wrong number song on that screen. So I kind of lucked out in my first playthrough, I think, that we actually did get it. And again, I'm not going to sing the wrong number song for you. I'm sorry. I'm just never going to sing on my YouTube channel again. I sang in one of the Talking Time races. If you're that desperate to hear it, which one was it again? I don't even remember. Just watch the Talking Time races; they're fun. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's nothing to do here. So I am going to let myself get killed by Papyrus once, just to show off what happens. What? Come on. Well, you got a lot of invincibility time in this game. Usually I'm just so focused on dodging stuff, I just like doesn't even matter. But yeah, you actually get like a lot of invincibility time in this game. That kind of goes to. I mentioned this in my in sort of my my like big sort of review / wrap up of my impressions of the game that'll be going up on YouTube later. Or I guess will be up on YouTube by the time I put this up on YouTube. Okay, so yeah, we don't actually die or get a game over. We get captured and sent to the capture zone. How ominous. Oh, we're going into the garage, which is apparently also a doghouse. So yeah, this is the doghouse, which is also the guest room. Yeah, fully yours. Okay, so yeah, we get this nice little doghouse. Got a bone. But yeah, as with the whole gate to the whole snow area, the bars are too wide, so we can just pop right out. Not a problem. Or actually, you know what? I wonder if that's the trick. I'm going to lose to him again just to see if something different happens. I wonder if that's the key to bypassing this fight, is to just keep losing to him. Whoopsie doopsie. Okay, so yeah. And again, in fact, actually, on my genocide, or not the genocide playthrough, I did another sort of neutral ending playthrough of the game where I just tried to kill different bosses than I did on my first playthrough, and I killed Papyrus on one of them. It turns out that with a lot of these boss fights, the sort of the pacifist way to beat them is often faster, actually, than the lethal way, at least depending on what your attack strength is. How many times am I really going to do this? Oh, he says he's upgraded the facilities. We might have to... What did he... It doesn't look any different to me. Okay, so much for that. Oh, this is new territory too. I knew how far like the dog petting thing and the Toriel's basement thing would go on for. I know that those things have a definite end and kind of a little bit of a payoff. I don't know how deep down the rabbit hole are we going to go with this. I'm really curious now. I really want to lose this fight again. I'm gonna do it. And actually, so I was going on all the time complaining about how long this boss fight is in in sort of the standard playthrough or the standard pacifist run, and here I am just doing this making it even more tedious. We're just doing the same shit over and over again. Why? Oh god, these invincibility frames, it's so crazy. I am persistent. That is true. He is. This dialogue is great. You know what? I'm committing to this. We're going all the way until I see dialogue here repeated. We're gonna keep going with this. Not as okay. I've got to read this out loud. Not as persistentist as Papyrus the persistentist. Yeah. I am rather enjoying this lesson. I bet that this is the trick. I bet that he's just gonna give up if we keep doing this. That's my guess. Question is, how far are they gonna make us take this? If I see repeated dialogue at this point, then... Oh, this is it? Oh, this is actually it. Oh, I solved the puzzle. Oh, all of my complaints are turning out to be bullshit. There's a skip past this fight, too. I guess it's not really a skip. I could probably have just about beat him in about the time it takes to lose the fight. What was that, 3 times? But, and in fact, I think I can even call him a loser, and it'll be fine. But I'll say, let's be friends. I want to be absolutely sure not to... Because yeah, the other requirement for the pacifist ending is you have to go on the date scenes with all of the characters, which basically you get the date with Papyrus, date with Sans, and date with Undyne, and then later on the date with Alphys. Aleph? I can't remember. That stupid lizard. I can't remember her name. I'm pretty sure it was Alphys.